That's a lot. Where it's like it's 9 pages of comment of things to maybe add. All right, so before we get started, number one, and you don't all have to type yes, but if a few of you want to, that's cool, but you say yes to yourself. If you are willing to receive the healing and the energy and the clearing, you give yourself permission. And do I have your permission to be like, yes, yes, yes? So cool. And also that's going to be what you need to say when we do the clearing statement. It's like, yes, 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 that's cool, brilliant. And when we do the clearing, although you're all in your respective places, when I say, are you okay to release, resolve and destroy and uncreate all of that, you can say yes. If you want to type yes, you can type yes as well. Brilliant. So people saying yes, yes, you have my permission, yes, thank you, yes, cool, we're good, fabulous. And part of that is, I think, one of the things that gets the energy moving. And the first time I ever combined the two of these, when I was running a photo reading workshop, and I realized that a big part of photo reading was not the 5 steps, which are actually quite straightforward, well, very straightforward. It's people believing that it's possible to photo read at 25,000 words per minute, and photo read a whole book in 5 minutes, and be able to remember and record what they'd read, and, you know, accessing their creativity and their intuition and their decision-making skills and all the rest of it. And I thought, you know what, it's a belief thing. So I just did an extra session at the end, did it with a group, and I was working with people individually. So I go around to each person and say, what do you most need? Is it clarity? Is it calming things down? Is it firing things up, etc.? I was working with each person individually, so they were saying what they wanted. I'm doing the clearing. There was one person who didn't participate. He just sat in the room listening and just sort of nodding, yes. It got to the point, somebody said something. I then said to that person, will you now release, resolve and destroy and uncreate all of that? And the whole room in unison went, yes. It was, and then we all fell about laughing, because in that moment I realized that we're not just clearing for one person, we were pretty much clearing for everyone. And a bit fluff. And the person who didn't actively put anything into the mix, he waited for everyone to go, and then, because he was very secretive by the nature of the work, and he says, Marilyn, I just wanted to thank you for that session. He said, I realized while you were clearing for other people, I could feel it clearing for me as well. So I didn't need to, you know, put something in, because I was resonating with what everyone else said. And I found that to be the case since I've been adding that to the photo reading workshop. Now will be for the last 7 or something years, that I'll be clearing for one person, and it's the ripple effect, and it's clearing for everyone. So if I say a statement and you kind of go, oh, that sounds good, just say yes, and give yourself permission and invite the clearing in for that particular piece. Right, so let me go back, and also I've got the ones from the survey questionnaire on my thing. I'll make sure there's no extras. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. And let's start from the top. Okay, here we go. Anywhere and everywhere you're holding on to things, something, and this could be spiritual, physical, emotional energy, and things, and even people, places, etc. So anywhere and everywhere you're holding on to things which no longer serve you, will you now release, resolve and destroy and uncreate all of that? And if you will, you just say yes, or you can type yes into the comments as well if you want. Right and wrong, good and bad, or 9 pod pocs, shorts, boys and beyonds. And anywhere and everywhere there is a sense of worry, there's a sense of fear, there's a sense of nervousness, there's a sense of anxiety. Anywhere and everywhere that is the case, will you now release, resolve and destroy and uncreate all of that energy everywhere it no longer serves you? Right and wrong, good and bad, or 9 pod pocs, shorts, boys and beyonds. And anywhere and everywhere there are patterns being triggered by what's being done, what's being said, even by what's not being said and what's not being done. So anywhere and everywhere you're being triggered by the patterns that are emerging with everything to do with this COVID-19, the coronavirus. Anywhere and everywhere you've been triggered and that no longer serves you, will you now release, resolve and destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, or 9 pod pocs, shorts, boys and beyonds. And anywhere and everywhere you're feeling the physical, the spiritual, the mental and the emotional impact of lockdown and the impact of self-isolation, the impact of not having that one-to-one human connection, and the impact of not having that human touch and human interaction and dynamic, anywhere and everywhere you're feeling the negative impact of that, will you now release, resolve, and destroy and uncreate all of that in its entirety? Right and wrong, good and bad, or 9 pod pocs, shorts, boys and beyonds. And anything and everything where you find there is a sense of devastation about what's been happening, what's been taken away in the midst of this pandemic, anywhere and everywhere you feel that sense of devastation and it no longer serves you, will you now release, resolve, and destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, or 9 pod pocs, shorts, boys and beyonds. And anywhere and everywhere there's a sense of feeling stuck, there's a sense of feeling stagnated, there's a sense of not being able to move. Anywhere and everywhere there's that sense of the stuckness and the sense of stagnation, anywhere that no longer serves you in this lifetime or even in previous lifetimes, will you now release, resolve, and destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, or 9 pod pocs, shorts, boys and beyonds. And anywhere and everywhere there is a sense of, it's kind of like the abyss and the not knowing, the uncertainty of it all, the confusion of it all, that sense where it's either, you know, one end of the scale you almost feel numb to it, and on the other end of the scale being triggered by every little thing and being worried about every little thing that goes on. So anywhere and everywhere there's that sense of, I guess the word for it might be mass hysteria. Anywhere and everywhere you're being impacted by that sense of mass hysteria, will you now release, resolve, and destroy and uncreate all of that in its entirety where it no longer serves you?